In previous editions of Inside Athletics, we have had Mo Farah and we have had Greg Rutherford. So it's only fitting that today we welcome the lovely and talented Jessica Ennis-Hill. Jessica, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
First of all, it occurred to me that you have ticked so many life and career boxes in the last couple years. You're world champion, Olympic champion, mother, wife. You've done so much. What's your motivation now to come back, get ready for Worlds this year, and defend your title in 2016?
I think that I feel very content in what I've achieved in my career and life so far, and I'm in a really happy place at the moment. But I still feel that I've stepped away from the sport, had to have my child, which is absolutely fantastic, and now I feel that I have a whole new challenge. So I still feel that there's more that I want to achieve from my event and from the sport, and that's given me the motivation to come back and really see what I can do. It's a huge challenge, and it's something that really excites me.
Now, nobody who was in that Olympic stadium the night that you won with your other British teammates will ever forget it. I actually have a recording on my iPad of your last lap in the 800. So it was an amazing memory for us. What was the memory of all of them of that night that stands out for you?
100% the 800 meters.
Really?
It was that moment, doing the 800 meters within a heptathlon anyway is such a hard finish to those 2 days. Yeah. And having everything just come together in that one moment, knowing that those years of training, missing the previous Olympics, having injuries and setbacks, and then for it to all happen and for it to all come together, yeah. And that feeling of crossing the line in front of a home crowd, it was really like a dream, an amazing dream come true.
So now the Olympics are over, and Britain has decided who their darlings are, and you are certainly one of them. Was there a moment that you had post-Olympics where you turned to your husband or your best friend, you just went, okay, my life is never going to be the same now?
It was definitely a weird feeling, because up until that point, all I thought about was the Olympics, London Olympics. I want to be ready, I want to do this, I want to be at my best. And I'd not for one moment really thought about what was going to come after.
Right.
So then going back into winter training and starting the whole process again as Olympic champion was hard. It was really hard. So I definitely had those moments where I thought, why am I training so hard? I've achieved what I set out to achieve.
Right.
But then, things move on. You've got to move forwards, and you've got to have new challenges and new targets. And, like I said, I stepped away from the sport, had my son, and now I've got a whole new challenge. So, yeah, it's all different now.
Now, when I competed, one of my friends was Denise Lewis. I was in Eugene last year to watch Morgan Lake win the World Junior title, Katarina Johnson-Thompson. What is it in the water in Great Britain where you guys produce so many fantastic female multi-eventers?
I know, it's incredible, and like you say, it's not just one heptathlete, it's a continuous cycle of us, which is so great for our country, and it's so great for the event. It's always in the forefront of everyone's mind because we're so successful at it. And yeah, for me to be at home and to watch, Katarina and Morgan Lake perform is incredible. I just can't believe how great we are at the event. So it's going to be a really exciting year.
Now, every time I hear you talk about your son, who's almost a year, right? Almost a year?
He's 7 months,
July, right.
Yeah.
Your face lights up, as well it should be. Tell me about your pregnancy, because people are always fascinated by, athletes seem to have pregnancies which, stomach gets big, you never put on a whole lot of weight, and then the child is here and people look at you now and they go, really? She had a baby when? In 2014? What was your pregnancy like?
Do you know what? I had a really great pregnancy. I really enjoyed it. And I know everyone experiences it differently.
Right.
And I've got friends that have had a tough time and friends that have really enjoyed it as well. But yeah, I had a great pregnancy. I was able to keep fit. I really wanted to just be as healthy as I could and keep active. And I managed to do that, which was fantastic. And then just really wanted to enjoy being a mum and take that time with Reggie at the beginning and settle into my new role.
Right.
So I was really careful not to rush back into training too quick, because I think as athletes you just want to get back straight away. So that was one thing that was really important, just to make sure I took that time and then started building back into training. But it's a whole new experience for me. Being pregnant and motherhood, it's just a whole new world.
I mentioned at the top that we had talked to both Mo Farah and Greg Rutherford on the program. The two things consistent that we heard from them was that post-Olympics, they got out of the UK, right? Of course, Mo went to Oregon to train, and he's all over the world training, and Greg was in Arizona at the time. You're not. You're in the UK, and we know that the UK, between the paparazzi and how the tabloids are, how have you managed to stay, for the most part, out of the tabloids and sort of out of that spotlight, the negative spotlight that can sometimes occur in the UK?
Yeah, I think it can be really hard, and you know, you're built up to you know, be on this podium and this pedestal, and yeah, you know, the media can be quite harsh sometimes. But yeah, I think I've got a great setup at home. You know, I'm not in London, in the big city. I'm kind of tucked away from it. I get on with my training where I've always trained. After the Olympics, you know, my life did change, but my setup and everything stayed the same. You know, I have the same coach, the same training venue, the same people around me. Wow. So that was really important for me, just to keep that all consistent and not make those big changes, and just get back to normality the best I could.
I think Great Britain has some of the best athletics fans. So my question to you is, what's the best part of being Olympic champion while representing a country like Great Britain?
I think just seeing how amazing the British public were in London, you know, stepping into the stadium for the first time and seeing all them British flags, and I could not believe how much they got behind us. It was just honestly incredible. And then post the Olympics, you know, just walking around the streets or going to the supermarket or doing just your everyday things, I constantly have people coming up saying, you know, it was amazing to watch you. I was here with friends, or I was doing this when you crossed the line. And just that whole buzz was, you know, so special and so incredible.
We were talking to J. Hugh Gordon yesterday, and I asked him what his medal ceremony moment was, and he talked about, you know, he was so overcome because he remembered all the people that had gotten him to that point. I want to ask you a question about your husband and what role he has played in the success that you have had, both immediately and in the past.
He's been such a huge part. You know, we've been together for a long time, and he's been through the whole journey of being a junior athlete, you know, trying to find that success within my event, and, you know, and just building through the rankings. So he's been with me the whole time. He's supported me. He's, you know, just been that person that I've been able to go home to and say, oh, you know, am I going to be able to do this? Is my event going to come together the way I hoped? And he's just given me that confidence and support. So yeah, stepping onto the podium when I actually won and picked up my medal was, you know, that thought of how much he'd support me, how much my family had supported me, and the sacrifices they've made along the way as well.
Yeah, well, I think you're such an amazing champion, and athletics, I think, is better for you being back. All the best at the World Championships this year, and certainly in defending your title in Rio.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you.